If you think tracking your content means tracking your views, your comments, your saves, your clicks, I've got some bad news. That's only about 20% of the picture. I'm Allie. I'm a data-backed marketing strategist, and I've helped hundreds of businesses track and measure their marketing and their content efforts so they know exactly what is and isn't worth it. And today I'm going to walk you through what you need to track to actually know if your content is working or not. And of course, if you want more data-backed marketing advice, make sure that you hit subscribe. So let's start by talking about your views, your clicks, your saves, your comments, the data that your social media platform is going to give you or whatever content platform you're working with. When I work with businesses on their content strategy, these are usually the things that they're checking obsessively, and they really don't tell you much. And don't get me wrong, those data points are important and you do want to look at them, but they shouldn't be the only thing that you look at to track your content. The more important first question that you want to ask when you're measuring your content is, where is this content sending people? Are they going to my website? Are they signing up for my email list or purchasing something from me? Whatever you want them to do, are they going there and actually doing that thing? And those metrics that we were talking about before cannot accurately tell you that. I want you to be able to look at your data and say, Instagram this month brought me 500 people to my website and 4% of them booked a call with me, or whatever that important action is for you. If you can't tell me that, then I don't care which posts are getting the most views or the most engagement. We need to know however many people you reach, are they actually going to do the thing you want them to do? Let me show you what that looks like for my clients and my students. So the first thing that I always do with a business is we set up their data tracking systems and we get all of their data flowing into a dashboard like this, because nobody likes digging through the bowels of Google Analytics to try to figure out what the heck it's telling you. I get all my Google Analytics data flowing through here so I can actually understand it and read it. So the data tracking that you'll need to track your content is 1, you need Google Analytics to be set up. 2, you need conversions to be tracking in that Google Analytics account. And 3, but kind of part of those, is both of those things need to be set up correctly and accurately. Just connecting your Google Analytics to your site is not going to get you the data that you need. Once you have your Google Analytics set up, the other thing that we want to be doing is using UTMs in our content. And so the strategy will look a little bit different if you're posting on Instagram versus on Facebook versus on LinkedIn or wherever your content lives. But you want to be using UTMs strategically so that when we look in Google Analytics, it's able to super clearly and cleanly break out your data like this. If you look at your Google Analytics data and you're looking at the traffic sources, and let's say that you do a bunch of email marketing, but you don't see email here, or you have paid ads on Instagram and organic content on Instagram, but you're only seeing organic social and not paid social, that's a UTM problem. Or if something that you're doing isn't showing up here, that's a UTM problem. So whether I'm doing a setup for a client or it's a student in Data-Backed Entrepreneur, we're always making sure that their Google Analytics is dialed and accurate, and we're making sure that they have a robust UTM strategy set up so that their data comes in cleanly like this. And I can super clearly see that my organic social content is bringing this many people to my site and exactly this many leads and purchases. And then I can ask myself, for the amount of money or the amount of energy that I'm putting into that platform, is that working? And just to show you the other wonderful thing that I love about these dashboards versus going directly into Google Analytics for this data, is it's so easy for me to filter down and look at, okay, cool, this is organic social, but which specific platform? And then it'll break it down super cleanly into, this is Instagram versus Facebook versus Pinterest versus whatever. Getting this level of granularity and be able to get to this breakdown in seconds like I did here is impossible in the native Google Analytics. So dashboards are absolutely the way you want to go. When you have this level of insight into your data, you're able to super clearly see Instagram is doing what it's supposed to be doing versus LinkedIn maybe isn't, versus Substack is. Whatever your content platforms are, you can compare and contrast to see, is the time and energy that I'm putting here actually worth it? And once you have that, if you want to take your data one step even further, because one of the questions that you may have is, okay, cool, what if Instagram is doing a great job at getting people onto my list, but then they buy 3 months, 6 months, a year later? How do I know if the ROI is still there, or is it just growing my list with people that are never going to buy from me? That is all perfectly trackable as well. But we need to add another layer of data tracking in there. So what we do then is we set up a data tracker like this in a Google Sheet. Now, don't get overwhelmed. You're never going to analyze the data in this format. This is just our collection of data. So every time somebody signs up for your freebie or joins your newsletter list, those UTM parameters that you already set up, we map them into your data tracking systems. So that in your dashboards, which then you would set up a dashboard like this to analyze that data, you can look and see how many people opted into my funnel or my newsletter or whatever that is, how many of them purchased, and you would be able to filter down to the individual sources that they came from because those UTMs are being recorded and collected. So then instead of me saying, okay, I had 77 opt-ins and 10 purchases during this time period with a conversion rate of 12%, when I just look at social, my conversion rate is actually much higher. And you can get even more granular into individual funnels if you have multiple, or we can compare different campaigns or types of content in this way as well. We can get super granular. This is definitely more of a advanced system. If you're just starting with data, I wouldn't worry about getting this deep into it. First step is definitely Google Analytics and getting your UTMs in place. But if you're a scaling business, if you have a pretty robust content system or marketing systems and you want to get really specific into what's working and what's not, having this level of data is going to be so powerful, and it'll make sure that your content efforts are going as far as possible as they can for you. So if you're watching this and you're like, okay, sounds great, where do I get started? I'm going to give you 3 different entry points here. If you are just looking for the tiniest little baby step to get started, I want you to look in the description below and grab my UTM cheat sheet. If you get that and you pair that with the simplest, I just added Google Analytics to my website in 20 seconds and I didn't even look at it, that's going to get you some data. You'll actually be able to tie in, this traffic is from Instagram, this traffic is from ads, and they're coming to my site. But if you're ready to actually get your data systems in order, I want you to look at the Data Backed Entrepreneur. That is my super robust, done with you data setup program. You will have direct access to me for all of your questions and support as you progress through. You're going to set up Google Analytics correctly and accurately. You are going to get my automated UTM builder system, and I'm going to walk you through how to use it for all of your content systems. You'll get my dashboard templates. You'll get my lead tracking systems. You'll get all of that, and you can set it up in your own business. Or your third option is like, cool, I want all that, but I want you to do it for me. Look for the Work With Me link below, and I can absolutely set up all of this for you so that you don't need to lift a finger and it's all done. But no matter which option you choose, I hope you take one step forward to going from I have no idea what's working in my content to I can see which content is actually driving traffic, leads, and sales for my business.